What is fasting? It's not just coming off of social media. That's lame, that's bottom shelf, that's American. Biblical fasting is the abstinence from food for a period of time to turn one's heart fully towards God in prayer and devotion and seeking his face. When we fast, we take authority over the flesh. And we tell the flesh, you have no power over me. And when we fast, we take power over the flesh in denying it what it wants most: food and pleasure. We tell the flesh, no pleasure for you. We tell the flesh for a period of time, no food for you. We tell the flesh for a period of time, you are not stronger than my spirit. When we fast, we draw closer to God. When you fast, your body grows weak, but your spirit grows strong. When you fast, you become more sensitive to the Holy Spirit. When you fast, you have more spiritual clarity. People have fasted and seen God move mightily in their life. People have fasted and heard God speak to them while they were fasting. People have fasted and God has intervened in their life or in the life of somebody else. People have fasted and seen God provide for them supernaturally during that fast. People I know have fasted and their bodies have been physically healed during their fast. People have fasted and been delivered from things that had them bound for years during their fast. Fasting and prayer is that powerful discipline we use to curb the appetite of the flesh and to draw closer to God for intimacy and to hear his voice. And the scriptures are replete with people groups who have fasted corporately to seek God's face. I want to remind you of a few of them. In Ezra chapter 8, for example, there was a priest in about the 500s AD. He was a scribe and a leader in the Jewish community. The people of God are in exile, and Ezra's getting ready to lead some 1,000 Jews out of exile back to Jerusalem. The traveling distance from where they are back to Jerusalem is a dangerous path, and many people have died along that road. And in Ezra chapter 8, we see an example of a corporate fast. Chapter 21, then I, Ezra, proclaimed a fast there at the river Hava, that we might humble ourselves before our God, to seek him for a safe journey for ourselves, our children, and all of our goods. For I was ashamed to ask the king for a band of soldiers and horsemen to protect us against the enemy on our way, since we had told the king, the hand of our God is for good on all who seek him, and the power of his wrath is against all who forsake him. So here is Ezra. He's about to lead 1,000 Jews back to Jerusalem on a pathway that is dangerous. Because he was bragging on God, he said, I can't go to the king and ask this man to get involved. If God don't get involved, nobody is gonna get involved. Verse 23, so we fasted. Who fasted? They did. Corporately. Everybody. So we fasted corporately and we implored our God, that is prayed. And watch how God responded. And he listened to our entreaty. So here is a corporate fast for protection. And as the people fasted together, God heard their prayer and provided for them their need. So here is an example of God meeting a need through corporate fasting. Let's look at more corporate fasting. Let's go to Acts chapter 13. Christ is crucified. Christ is resurrected. It is the 1st century AD. Christ is raised. The church is born on the day of Pentecost in the city of Jerusalem. The church is growing by the thousands. The church undergoes persecution. The first Christian martyr is killed. His name is Stephen. Then James is killed. Then the people of God scatter to other cities. Christians end up in a city called Antioch. And a new church is formed in an ancient city called Antioch. And the believers there don't have guidance for what to do next. Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church at Antioch prophets and teachers. Barnabas, Simon, who was called Niger, Lucius of Cyrene, Manaen, a lifelong friend of Herod the Tetrarch, and Saul. Verse 2, while they were worshiping the Lord and what? Fasting. The Holy Spirit said, set apart for me Barnabas and Saul for the work to which I have called them. Then they're fasting and praying. They laid their hands on them and sent them off. So here we see a church calling a corporate fast. And while they were fasting, the Holy Spirit spoke. Because while you're fasting, your spirit is strong, your flesh is weak, and you set yourself up to hear from God more clearly. So we see one group of people in a corporate fast, God provides a need. We see another group of people in a corporate fast, God speaks to them. So we see during fasting, God provides needs. And there are people under the sound of my voice right now, you have needs. Maybe you have a mental need or an emotional need or a spiritual need or a financial need. I'm telling you, God can meet that need during your fast. There are people in this room right now, you are going through confusion. You need guidance. You want God to speak to you. Should I marry this person? Should I take this job? Should I move to Atlanta to join 2819 locally? Should I fill in the blank? Well, you see, during fasting, the Holy Spirit spoke. And there's some of us right now, we need guidance before you run into the busyness of a new year. Before you start building things God didn't tell you to build. Before you start getting into covenants when God didn't tell you to get into a covenant with that person. Before you start making all these decisions, we need to slow down to watch. Hear from the one who is the author and the finisher of your faith. So we see during fasting, God provides needs. We see during fasting, God speaks. And what about all of you under the sound of my voice who feels like, Pastor, I hear you, but I limped out of 2025. My prayer life is not where it's supposed to be. I haven't opened my Bible in a long time. I don't feel confident that if I fasted and prayed that God is going to listen to me. Joel chapter 2. The people of God have disobeyed God. God sends a plague of locusts on their land, and he is ravishing their economy. This is so powerful to me. God sends a plague of locusts on the land, and he's ravishing their economy. They're losing money. They can't pay their bills. They can't buy food, because sometimes God will hurt you to get your attention. When we love disobedience, God in his love would often hurt his children to get their attention. He might take something out of your life. He might disrupt something that you built. God was disrupting their economy to get their attention. Since you want everything other than me, and since you won't come to me, let me disrupt your economy so I can get your attention. I know if I touch your money, I'll have your attention then. Joel chapter 2, for everybody who feels like, I don't know if I'm in a position for God to hear me. While the people are in disobedience, look at the heart of God. Joel chapter 2, verse 12, while the people are in disobedience, look at the heart of God. Yet even now, declares the Lord. I love this part. Return to me. Come back to me, run to me, return to me with what? All of your heart. How do you do that? With fasting. which is an act of humility, with weeping and with mourning. This is God crying out to some of you right now. I know you're far away. I know you haven't been praying. I know you haven't been reading. I know you've been in sin. I know you feel disconnected from me. But even in your rebellion, return to me. I'm calling you my son. I'm calling you my daughter. Even in your sinful state, even in your rebellion, return to me, saith the Lord. How? With humility. Don't return with pride and arrogance. Return to me, he says. How? With fasting and with weeping. Verse 13, rend your hearts. That means tear your hearts and not your garments. Pastor, I don't understand. In those times when people were sad, they would rip their clothes as a sign of being sad. But God says, I don't want your outward piety. Your little church attendance, that's not good enough. I want you to tear your heart. I want you to wring out your sin. I want you to come before me broken. I want you to crawl into your prayer place, broken and wounded. Run back to me, crawl back to me, weep back to me, fast and turn back to me. This is God giving some of you an invitation, watch, to just run into the loving arms of your Father. In your insecurities, return. In your rebellion, return. In your weakness, return. In your rebellion, just run back to him, he says. Return to me, how? With fasting and with weeping and with mourning. Rend your hearts and not your garments. He says again, return to the Lord your God, for he is what? Gracious and merciful. He is slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love. And he relents over disaster. This is the Holy Spirit giving someone an invitation right now. You are straying, but return. You feel distant, but return. You feel far away, but return. And as there is no excuse for anyone to not fast and pray. The invitation goes out to all. The invitation to the holy consecration goes out to all. And maybe there's an outlier in the room. Maybe there's an outlier watching me across that camera. Say, Pastor, y'all can go ahead and fast this week and y'all can do what y'all got to do. I'm going to be on the outside watching y'all. I'm not doing 7 days of fasting. That's not me. Maybe there's somebody out there feel like that's not for you. That's for the spiritually elite. Did Jesus call his followers to fasting and prayer? Is there any record of the Lord calling us to this discipline? In his most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount, in Matthew chapter 6, beginning in verse 5, the Lord said to you, his follower, his disciple, his son, his daughter, verse 5, and when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who is in secret will reward you.